Most organizational change initiatives don't fail because the strategy is wrong. They fail because leaders underestimate what it takes to get people to work differently, and then they dismiss the work required as soft or fluffy. That's an expensive mistake because poorly led change results in lost money, resistance that could be prevented, and it quietly erodes your organization's competitive advantage. Today, I want to share with you why working with the human systems of change is anything but fluffy, where most change initiatives fail, and 3 business reasons you need to integrate change leadership to increase your return on investment for any organizational change. If you've ever thought of change management as soft, fluffy, or something that sits on the sidelines, you're not alone. You're one of the most straightforward change management people I've ever met. Before you, I thought it was just fluff. That's what an IT project manager said to me in the middle of a major technology transformation. She was experienced, smart, and results-driven. Yet, like many leaders, she had had experiences with change management that had her questioning its value. Considering change management's evolution, that's not surprising. When I started working with organizations more than 25 years ago, the leaders I worked with either hadn't heard the term change management or viewed it as an administration or one of those HR functions. Today, most leaders have heard the term change management, yet the belief of it being soft and fluffy persists. It's not. But it does require you to work with specific human systems that are often hidden below the conscious level. Decades of science confirms what I've seen in practice. There are innate human systems that impact whether change succeeds or fails. 2 of the most important are everyone. All of us is hardwired for consistency. We don't like ambiguity. We don't like uncertainty, and we don't respond to being told what to do. At the same time, we also have an innate system that seeks novelty, enabling us to adapt and adopt new things quickly. Both these systems are always operating. Change leadership is about working with instead of against these 2 innate systems. Bottom line, if you don't know how to work with these 2 innate systems, your strategy will never become a reality. You won't see a return on your investment, and you'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for changes that don't stick. So let's talk about what's needed, how current thinking gets in your way, and the cost that that can have to your business. There's one space that matters the most. These 2 innate human systems share one space. I call it the white space. The white space is that space between when you say, go, let's do it, and before your employees or team have actually changed the way they work, they think, or they behave. And this space applies to any change. Doesn't matter if it's a new ERP rollout, a new operating model, hiring a new team leader, or the reinstitution of your work in office policy. If you want people to work or behave differently, they must navigate this white space. It's in this space where employee commitment is formed. Budgets also get burned. New behaviors can be embedded. Timelines slip. Readiness is built or not. Leaders start blaming resistance. ROI can quietly disappear when this space isn't navigated well. Transformations don't fail at your decision point. They fail in the white space. Another problem is that the term change management itself gets in the way. It's one reason I don't like it. Change management suggests that you can manage someone else's change. You can't. What you can do, we can create the conditions that invite support and reinforce new ways of working. This is what many leaders get wrong about change management. They treat managing and leading change as a task, a work stream, or something that can be delegated. And that's not to say that you don't want lots of active involvement. You just can't delegate the change management. It's a core leadership practice. And when it's missing, the business consequences are fast, expensive, and predictable. So, if change management is about creating the conditions and supporting people to adopt new ways of working, here are 2 questions you need to ask. First, what is it costing your organization when you minimize or dismiss this work as soft and fluffy? And what would become possible when it's done well? When you look at the impact through a business lens, 3 reasons make it really clear why leading change isn't soft work. It's a leadership imperative. First, it's the cost of getting it wrong. According to Corporate Leadership Council, 50% of organizational changes fail completely, and another 16% deliver only mixed results. And McKinsey found that when change is poorly managed, organizations lose about 65 cents on every dollar they spend on change. That loss doesn't always show up as a single failure. It can happen quietly in the white space with delayed timelines, rework, failed adoption of those new behaviors, and disengagement. The second reason, resistance is usually self-created. Resistance is one of the most common reasons given for when change fails. Yet, most of the resistance leaders describe isn't resistance. It's a reflection of how the change was introduced, led, and managed in combination with the normal human response. When people haven't internalized the why, when they lack the readiness, the trust, or they're uncertain about the outcome, they're not going to engage. When you approach change with a readiness mindset, resistance doesn't show up. Organizations become more adaptable, more responsive, and far less reactive. Third, engagement and capability compound over time. When you lead change well in your organization, you build something much more valuable than just the success on that single change initiative. You develop a workforce that can be engaged, committed, and capable of navigating ongoing changes. That's not a soft outcome. It's a competitive advantage. Change leadership, it isn't soft. It isn't optional. And it isn't someone else's job. It's a core leadership capability and a business necessity. If your organization is facing more change and you question if it has the capacity to deliver without burning out your employees, your leaders, your managers, then click the link in the description and let's have a conversation. That's it for now. I'll talk to you soon.